Accept Band. Accept is a German heavy metal band from the town of Solingen, formed in 1976 by guitarist Wolf Hoffmann and former members Udo Dirkschneider and Peter Baltz. Their beginnings can be traced back to the late 1960s, when the band got its start under the name Band X. Accept's lineup has changed over the years, which has included different singers, guitarists, bassists, and drummers. Their current lineup consists of Hoffmann, vocalist Mark Tornillo, guitarists Hugh Lulleys and Philip Schaus, drummer Christopher Williams, and bassist Martin Motnick. Hoffmann has been the sole constant member since its inception, and he is the only band member to appear on each album. Accept played an important role in the development of speed and thrash metal, and they were part of the German heavy metal scene, which emerged in the early to mid-1980s. They have also been cited as an influence or inspiration by a number of acts, including Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Pantera, Testament, Anthrax, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Overkill, Exodus, and Annihilator, as well as fellow Germans such as Helloween, Blind Guardian, Duro, Sodom, Rage, and Grave Digger. Accept achieved its first commercial success with their fifth studio album Balls to the Wall, which is the band's only album to be certified gold in the United States and Canada, and spawned their well-known hit Balls to the Wall. Accept have broken up and reformed multiple times. They first split up in 1989, several months after the release of Eat the Heat, but reformed in 1992 and released 3 more albums, 4 disbanding again in 1997. After briefly reuniting in 2005, Accept announced their third reunion in 2009, with former TT Quick frontman Mark Tornillo replacing Dirkschneider, and the band has recorded 5 albums with him: Blood of the Nations, Stalingrad, Blind Rage, The Rise of Chaos, and Too Mean to Die. Each of those albums renewed Accept's popularity in Germany and entered the top 10 charts there. Biography. Early years 1968–1982. Accept's beginnings can be traced back to 1968, when Udo Dirkschneider and Michael Wagner formed a local band called Band X, which eventually changed its name to Accept. For many years, Accept went through numerous lineup changes. This instability essentially kept the band on an amateur level, making sporadic appearances in festival concerts. Accept's professional career began in 1976 with Udo Dirkschneider, Wolf Hoffmann, Gerhard Wall, Peter Baltz, and Frank Friedrich, when they were invited to play at one of the first rock and roll festivals in Germany, Rock am Ring. Following the festival, the band were offered a recording deal. Their first recording was the self-titled Accept album, which was released in 1979, but did not achieve much commercial success. The first stable lineup of Accept was composed of vocalist Udo Dirkschneider, guitarists Wolf Hoffmann and Gerhard Wall, bassist Peter Baltz, and drummer Frank Friedrich. Friedrich and Wall quit the band after the release of Accept and were replaced by Stefan Kaufmann and Jörg Fischer. This lineup recorded I'm a Rebel in 1980. The title track originally was written for AC/DC and recorded by the band, but never released by them. The album brought some media attention, the band being invited to make a televised appearance. In 1981, their next album, Breaker, was released, and the band employed manager Gaby Hawk. Accept also joined Judas Priest's worldwide Blitz tour and obtained attention outside of Europe for the first time. Restless and Wild was released in 1982, although Jörg Fischer quit the band a short time before the recording took place. Jan Komet was hired as guitarist, but departed from the band before the recording of the album. Restless and Wild saw an evolution in the band's sound, which incorporated characteristics defining the genre later dubbed speed metal. Gaby Hawk was credited as Defi on 2 of the tracks. Mainstream success 1983–1987. Accept's next release, Balls to the Wall, was released in 1983. Now with guitarist Herman Frank, the album was more conceptual and included lyrical themes about politics, sexuality, and human relationships. For example, Balls to the Wall refers to slaves revolting against oppressing masters, while Fight It Back is about social misfits fighting against conformity. All songs were credited to Accept and Defi. Defi was manager Gaby Hawk's pseudonym as the band's lyricist, although she did not officially claim ownership until the band had broken up for the second time. During a 1983 show in their hometown, the band met Jorg Fischer by chance, and on Hawk's insistence, Fischer rejoined the band. A world tour followed through 1984, including the Monsters of Rock Festival. By this time, the band was supported by Bad Steve, a band which was led by former Accept and Band X members Dieter Rubach, Jan Komet, and Frank Friedrich. The band also opened for Iron Maiden on their World Slavery Tour. Metal Heart was released in 1985. Produced by Scorpions producer Dieter Dierks, it presented the band's creative peak. Accept toured the world supporting the album and documented the live shows with the live mini-album Kaizoku Ban. The follow-up, Russian Roulette, was released in 1986. In 1987, Udo Dirkschneider was fired from the band and later decided to embark on a solo career. Supporting this decision, the songwriting team in Accept wrote his entire solo album, released in 1987 as Animal House under the band moniker Udio. David Rees period and first hiatus 1988–1991. Parallel to work on Animal House, Accept started to audition vocalists. The band tried out a few singers, including Michael White, Ken Tamplin, and Baby Tuku singer Rob Armitage, whom they even featured in promo photos and Metal magazine interviews, and also recorded demos with. Armitage also performed live with the band, and one of the shows with him was reviewed by Metal Hammer magazine. However, American vocalist David Rees was chosen, and this new lineup recorded and released Eat the Heat in 1989. Accept toured in support of the album that year with bands like Metal Church, Wasp, Danzig, and Armored Saint. Accept's career came to a sudden halt when Stefan Kaufmann sustained a serious injury to his back during the tour in support of the album. He was briefly replaced by House of Lords drummer Ken Mary for the remainder of the U.S. tour. By the time tour ended in late 1989, the band decided that without Kaufmann, and with differences surfacing with Rees, it was time to cease their activities for the time being. Reunion with Dirkschneider 1992–1996. The live album Staying Alive, recorded in 1985, was released in 1990 as a souvenir celebrating their career. A few years later, the ex-members met with Dirkschneider and decided to relaunch the band with core members Hoffman, Kaufmann, Dirkschneider, and Baltz. Their comeback album, Objection Overruled, was released in 1993 and was a qualified success in Europe and the United States. A world tour followed, and another album, entitled Death Row, was released in 1994. Kaufmann became unable to play once again due to his recurring back injury, and Stefan Schwarzman became the temporary replacement. Predator was recorded in 1996 in Nashville, with Udo's longtime friend and producer Michael Wagner at the helm, and with Michael Cartellone guesting on drums. Accept's tour supporting Predator took place in North America, South America, Europe, and Asia, with their last concert in Tokyo, Japan. second hiatus and brief reunion 1997–2005. Between 1997 and 2005, all the members continued working on their own projects. In 2005, Accept received an invitation from various European promoters for a short summer European festival tour with Accept's classic lineup. These festivals turned out to be a stunning success, with the last show on 27 August 2005 in Kavarna, Bulgaria, at the Kaliakra Rock Fest. Asked in May 2007 by Lords of Metal, Accept were planning on writing and recording new material in the near future. Dirk Schneider replied, "That would be a problem. You know, it's easy to play the old songs because they already exist. Especially for me it was easier, because I still do those classics with Udio, but for some of the guys it was a bit harder. But everybody did a great job on stage. I understand that people want a new Accept album, but composing songs together would have been a disaster. That way we would destroy more than we would create. We have a good relationship now and it's best to keep it that way." On 14 May 2009, Udo Dirkschneider officially announced that he would not be participating in the rumored Accept reunion. Return with Mark Tornillo and Blood of the Nations 2009–2011. At the end of May 2009, rumors again surfaced of a possible Accept reformation, when bassist Peter Baltz revealed he spent a weekend at his house in Pennsylvania shredding away with guitarist Wolf Hoffmann. "Something amazing is in the works," Baltz explained. "As soon as I can, I'll let everybody know. Let's make the metal heart beat again." A coincidental meeting between Accept and former TT Quick singer Mark Tornillo at this informal jam session meant shortly after Tornillo was announced as the new vocalist, a new album was written and recorded with Andy Sneap as producer. Titled Blood of the Nations, it was the first original Accept album in 14 years. The new line-up made their live debut on 8 May 2010 at the Gramercy Theatre in New York City, their first American concert in 15 years. On 21 May 2010, the video for Teutonic Terror was number 5 on the worldwide video charts in all genres on MySpace, topping such artists as Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, and Christina Aguilera. The video also topped the MySpace Global Metal charts at number 1. On 13 June 2010, Accept opened for AC/DC in Stuttgart, Germany, and on 25 June 2010, they headlined the Sonosphere Festival in Romania and Turkey. With a set of over 2 hours, classics like Balls to the Wall, Metal Heart, and Princess of the Dawn were played along with the new album material. Blood of the Nations was released in Europe on 20 August 2010 and made a chart debut at number 4 in the official German media control charts, the band's second highest chart debut in their career. Blood of the Nations was released on 4 September 2010 in Japan and on 18 September in the United States. Accept spent 80 days on a summer tour traveling over 65,000 km and playing for over 450,000 fans. In October, the band appeared at the prestigious Japanese festival Loud Park outside of Tokyo to 40,000 fans along with Ozzy Osbourne, Motorhead, and Stone Sour. Within a month of the release of Blood of the Nations, Wolf Hoffmann told Metal Asylum, "We are already thinking about and writing for the next record. We've all missed doing Accept, and we realized we missed doing this. Of course, we are not 20 years old anymore and not ready to do just anything to be successful. We are not that desperate." Laughs. "We are looking to do what makes sense and that's fun." Stalingrad and Blind Rage 2012–2014. Accept worked with Andy Sneap again to produce 13th studio album, completed in early 2012. Entitled Stalingrad, it was released in April 2012. On 8 April 2013, Wolf Hoffmann told Chile's Radio Futuro that Accept had begun writing new material for their 14th studio album, and would definitely go back to the studio as soon as they can. 4 months later, on 9 August at the Bloodstock Open Air Festival 2013, Wolf told Metal Shock Finland, "Our upcoming album is hopefully going to be out next year. We've started working on writing some songs. We haven't recorded anything yet, but over the winter, maybe early next year, we'll start recording it and try to make it every bit as good as the last one, maybe even better. If we succeed, we'll see. It's going to be as heavy as the rest." Accept released their 14th studio album Blind Rage on 18 July 2014, and on their world tour, they played in Australia for the very first time. Blind Rage became Accept's first album to debut at #1 on the charts in their home country. Departures of two members and the rise of chaos 2014-2017. On 28 December 2014, guitarist Herman Frank announced that he had left Accept again. Later that day, Accept announced that drummer Stefan Schwarzman had also left the band. On 12 April 2015, Accept announced new guitarist and drummer, respectively Hugh Lulis and Christopher Williams. On 5 June 2015, prior to the band's performance at the South Park Festival in Tampere, Finland, bassist Peter Baltz told Kaos TV that Accept planned to begin work on a new album after the conclusion of the Blind Rage tour. Asked in a July 2015 interview about the band's future, guitarist Wolf Hoffmann replied, "We will continue for a few more weeks, and then the next album will have to be written and to be recorded. And how long that's gonna take, and when that's all gonna happen, who knows? But it'll happen. That's all I know." Hoffmann stated that the new album would be released around July or August 2017. Like their previous three albums, the album was produced by Andy Sneap, making it Accept's fourth collaboration with him. On 16 April 2017, Accept announced that the album, titled The Rise of Chaos, would be released on 4 August. On 2 June 2017, the band released title track single digitally via Nuclear Blast, accompanied by new artwork. Split with Peter Baltz and Too Mean to Die 2018 present. In a September 2018 interview with The Foundry, guitarist Wolf Hoffmann confirmed that Accept had begun the songwriting process for the follow-up to The Rise of Chaos. He stated, "We started putting down some riffs here and there." On 27 November 2018, bassist Peter Baltz announced that he had left Accept after 42 years as a member. According to the band, Peter needed a change in his life, and we wish him all the best. He will always be part of the Accept family, and to honor his tribute to music history, we should all wish him well. With Baltz's departure, Hoffmann remains the last member of the original lineup in the band. Baltz was filled in on bass by Danny Silvestri for the band's performance at the 2019 edition of the 70,000 Tons of Metal Cruise. On 16 April 2019, former Uli Jon Roth sideman Martin Motnick was announced as Baltz's permanent replacement. 3 days later, Accept released a special 7-inch single called Life's a Bitch, which was their first song in 2 years and first one without Baltz. On 1 November 2019, Accept announced that Philip Schaus, previously a touring member, had joined the band as their third guitarist, thus converting Accept to a sextet. On 2 October 2020, Accept released The Undertaker as the first single from their upcoming 16th studio album Too Mean to Die, released on 29 January 2021. Touring for the album will begin roughly a year after its release. The band will tour Europe in January and February 2022 with Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons and Flotsam and Jetsam. Band members. Current members: Wolf Hoffmann lead guitar, Backing vocals Mark Tornillo, lead vocals Lulis, rhythm guitar Christopher Williams, drums Martin Motnick, bass Philip Schaus, rhythm guitar. Discography. Studio albums: Except I'm a Rebel, Breaker, Restless and Wild, Balls to the Wall, Metal Heart, Russian Roulette, Eat the Heat, Objection, Overruled, Death, Row, Predator, Blood of the Nations, Stalingrad, Blind Rage, The Rise of Chaos, Too Mean to Die. In popular culture. In the second season of Justified, the character Coover is frequently seen with an Accept shirt on. Accept songs in other media. Songs from Breaker album. The German 1982 movie Nacht der Wolf included an excerpt of Starlight, as well as a glimpse of the album cover for Breaker, as the female lead puts the record on. Run If You Can is also featured in the film, and both songs appeared on the soundtrack album. Fast as a Shark, Italian film, Demoni film, People Like Us, action/adventure video game, Brutal Legend, Balls to the Wall, PlayStation 2 game, Guitar Hero Encore, Rocks the 80s, PSP/PS2 game, Grand Theft Auto, Vice City Stories, downloadable content for the multi-platform guitar teaching game, Rocksmith film, The Wrestler film, Balls to the Wall, directed by Penelope Spheris, TV show Beavis and Butthead episode Tornado, in which the title characters ridicule the video. The mission in GTA Online called Ballas to the Wall is a reference to the song.